close guard top, posture. That's the most important thing in close guard when you're on top. To have a good posture, the first thing you need to notice is I have to be on my tiptoes. I have to be here because when I have a good posture, I have to be high. I can't be too low. And I don't have this same reaction of going to the top or backing out as if I'm doing this. You see, I have way more impact and explosion when my tiptoes are on the mat. That's not just to close guard, I just want to keep talking about it, but in every single situation you're on top, you have to get used to your tiptoes. Even though in the beginning you'll say, oh no, I can't because my tiptoes hurt when I have my tiptoes on the mat, you end up getting used to, like every situation. You know, the first moment you enter jiu-jitsu, you can't close your triangle, stuff like that, but you will be able to do it. And when you do so, you're not gonna be able to come and sit like this anymore because you just feel that it's wrong, especially like this. A lot of people sit like this. How can you sit like that, you know? Your tiptoes has to be here. Always with pressure. So my posture here. I have a good posture. I'm tall. I feel tall. But if I just stay like that, the guy has his legs always pulling. You see? And my arms always to open my elbows. So I want to be able to make sure that his legs are not going to interfere and my elbows are not going to open. So I'm not going to have my posture broken down. And my tiptoes are there, fine, so the guy doesn't push me, right? So I want to have my hand not like this because I don't want any type of wrist lock, right? I want to have my palm turns that way so I can keep his chest on the mat. My elbow has to be straightened so he doesn't keep on opening. Like this, it would be easier for him to also open my elbow one way or the other. Like this is hard because my arm is straight in here, right? And always knowing that while you're defending the move, you have to follow his hip. So my hand here, kind of in the middle of the chest, maybe a little bit below. His lapel is always tight to his neck. Always making the right posture. So try not to look too much to the guy because you look to the guy, your elbow bends a little bit, right? So I'm making a little bit of posture with my head as well. And he moves his hips to one side. I'm moving with him. Because if I let him move his hip, now he has the attack. The armbar, everything. So I want to be here with the posture and always make sure that I'm going to follow his hips if I'm in the defensive position. Go ahead, Flavio, move a little bit. Look how I'm going to move with him. You see, and always make sure that his hips are going to be in the same line as mine. Let's take a look at some moves and let's break his guard. This is the safest way to open someone's guard. I'm in my partner's close guard. The first thing I want to do is grab both of his lapels and pull them tight to me. I grab both of the lapels with one hand and fold them over into my other hand. I do this the way I just explained in the intro to this series of techniques. I grab his sleeve at the wrist with my other hand. In one motion, I rock my body to the side and pull his sleeve to me to trap it between my ribs and his leg. My body is now leaning towards that side to keep his wrist trapped in this position. Now I'm going to stand up on the same side as his trapped arm. I keep my leg tied to his leg as I continue to stand up. I release his collar and push my hips forward so I'm in a good posture when I stand all the way up. I put my hand on his knee with my thumb all the way to the inside. I step backwards and to the side as I give a push on his knee to open his guard. Now I'm in a good position to start to pass his guard. This move has helped me numerous times, but this time he underhooked my leg. In one motion, I release the grip on his sleeve, drive my knee down to his belly, and push his leg away to open his guard. Notice that I had to take a step back to do so. Now I lift my hip up to move around his leg and get the pass. This time my opponent is not letting me get the grip on his sleeve. This happens a lot, but you can still open the guard. I'm going to use my hand to grip his gi near his hip. My grip is palm down, applying pressure. I bring my elbow in tight to my ribs. I'm going to stand up on the same side that I have the collar grip, so this is different than how I stood up in the previous technique. I keep my knee tight against his leg. I'm going to move my other leg to the middle of his butt and step it all the way back, away from him. Now I start to stand up, putting all my pressure on his hip as I look to the side to give me good balance. I will finish by putting my knee on the middle of his legs so I can land in a safe position. I'm in my partner's close guard, and he's going to attack the Kimura. He starts to trying to pin my hand to the mat. Now he opens his guard to start to sit up and get the Kimura. I'm going to control his leg at the knee with my free hand. Now I dip my head down and jump over his legs towards his back. I can't stay here because he's going to start cranking my arm. I have to move behind him and reach underneath to grab my own hand. Now I pull him all the way across to the other side and put my hooks in to get the back. Once again, my partner tries to attack the Kimura from the close guard. The first thing I have to do is defend my arm. So I start to move my body to the side of the trapped arm. Now I can lock the hand to my leg by stepping over the arm to trap it. If the arm is already up, I need to act fast by lifting my leg and bringing it to my hand. Now I'm going to stack him a little bit by driving my body towards his head. I put pressure on his hip with my other hand so I can posture up to straighten my arm as much as I can. I bring my hand in deep, in front of my belly, and grab my own wrist with my free hand. I must pull my hand the closest to my shoulder as possible and squeeze it so I can trap his arm on my elbow joint. I bring my elbow in and arch my shoulders back to reverse the Kimura and tap him out. This is for sure the most effective way out of the arm lock inside the close guard. My partners attack the armbar. The first thing I do is bend the arm he's attacking and grip my palm across my opposite bicep. Now I'm in a position to defend. As he starts to pass the leg over my head, I use the opposite hand to cup the back of his thigh near the knee. I start to move my knee towards his head to stack him. Right away, my other knee comes up on the middle of his lower back to keep stacking him. I continue to apply the pressure of my body over his legs and move up towards his head and feet. Be careful to never go or pass 90 degrees. I have taken all of his leverage away. I slide my grips and control his leg as I move him over on his side and take side control. This time when my opponent attacks the arm, I'm too late to catch the back of his thigh and defend the way I did in the previous technique. Instead, I grab his gi at the knee. In one motion, I step my knee away from him and pull his leg to the ground. Now I release the grip on my bicep. I drive my chin down over his leg to smash his knees down and turn my thumb towards his chest. He can't tap me anymore. I keep driving my weight down over his leg and pull my arm to escape the armbar and get the pass. If you master this technique, it will be very hard to be submitted from the triangle. This time, my partner attacks the triangle. I immediately lock my elbow tight to my side and reach across and grab his lapel with the other hand. I grab his belt with my hand near his hip and close my elbow very tight on his leg. Notice that I never look to the side of the leg tied to my neck. Now I turn my body so it's 90 degrees to him. I do this by moving my knees. I move my outside knee away from him and my inside knee towards him. Look how I have his knee trapped over my thigh. This prevents him from moving his hips. Now I release the grip on his belt and swing my arm towards his feet as I look at the same direction. This opens his guard and I'm in a good position to move to the side control. This time when he attacks the triangle, my arm is in front of him. I'm not going to try to fight to get it all the way to the other side. I'm just going to make a grip on his gi pants, right where my hand is, and posture up right away. It's very important to pull my elbow tight across his hip and reach with the other hand to control his collar. I look up and pull his collar to me and I get up on my toes. I step up with one foot, then the other. I have to keep my hips low and looking up to take some of the pressure off my head. I swing my leg over his head on the same side that is controlling his collar and sit back on the mat to right away lock my feet. I grab his leg here near the knee and arch back to open his legs. I underhook both legs. I can lean to one side to bring one knee under, then lean to the other side to do the same thing. I am in a good position to pass his guard. This is one of the most effective defense for omoplata. My partner has me in the omoplata. I put the closest knee to him on his belly and step up with my outside foot to base. He's blocking me from rotating around with his grip on my belt. In one movement, and this has to be quick, I'm going to grab his foot, and as I step forward, I lift my hip up and turn towards him. My thumb is rotating towards him to prevent the arm lock. If necessary, shaking my arm to get my elbow free. Now I can pull my arm out and get the pass. Once again, my partner is attacking the omoplata. The first thing I do is to put my knee on his belly with the top of my foot tied to his side. This prevents him from sitting up. Remember, he can't apply the omoplata until he sits up. I have my other hand and knee on the ground here to keep my base. Now I step up on my foot. With all my weight on my knee, I swing over to the other side of my partner, and as I get there, I try to put my hand around the other leg and open my arm to end in side control.